Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Sarah Yu. I'm the sole host of Dr. Sarah Yu Show, Today's America in the World, as well as sole host Dr. Sarah for U.S. Senate and Congress. Today I have a special, guest, attorney Marshal Morris. He's a very famous attorney, Chicago from Chicago. So he had a special message through his experience. So I have several questions. Welcome, Attorney Marcel. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. And you?
Uh, yeah, I'm very good. I'm so glad you joined my show. I'm very proud of your contribution, your life to family attorney 49 years. Wow. So today, my audience they want to know about you. And tell me about yourself, who you are, what you have what area you are passionate.
Okay, that's a fair question. The area of law I'm in, well, let's get a little background. I graduated from Roosevelt University, major accounting and history, Juris Doctorate, IIT, Chicago Kent College of Law, admitted to the bar in 1973. I've been doing this for 49 years. You think I get I keep practicing. The area of law that I spend most of my family law, which is an umbrella name for all sorts of areas that fall under it. There's divorce, there's child support, there's post-decree actions, there's order of protection, both prosecution and defense, stay away orders, there's paternity, and there are criminal and aspects. And also, if you're in divorce, you have to know real estate and probate and to understand um, how to set up the settlement agreements in the event of death of one of the parties. So there's a lot of areas of law that fall into the area of family law. So you don't just do a divorce decree and everybody walks away. You've got a lot of areas that you have to concern yourself with. And most people do not understand how the legal system is set up. First of all, you have what's called the circuit court system, which is where everybody goes in, they argue their cases. Then you have what's called the appellate court system, which I spend a lot of time in. The appellate court system is a court of review. It is run by three justices, and they will review what you perceive to be the errors of the circuit court judge. And I've made a significant amount of law in that area of the appellate system. But then, if you're unhappy with what the appellate court said, or your opponent is unhappy, you could end up in the Supreme Court. Now, you don't have a right to the Supreme Court. That's 9 judges, and you have to ask for an invitation. So, to give you an example, we tried a case in the circuit court under a quasi-criminal case in which a father alleged that the mother was interfering with his by his visitation. The allegation was false, but that's we went for her fees. The judge said no, we're going to do it. The appellate court said no, we're not going to do. We're not going to back. The second district went against all the other districts and said no. Supreme Court, we're waiting on them to see if they'll take the case, because you can't have one court district saying one thing and 4 others saying something else in opposition to it. So that's how the system works. Now, how does divorce, which is probably what you're really looking for, affect the family itself? The problem we're seeing is that divorce becomes a battleground in which, unfortunately, the children become the victims. Now, what does that mean? Well, you have one parent trying to exclude the other parent, which is foolish because in the end, that you're going to have children who come back and are going to have problems. There could be gangs they get into because of single parents, which is a lot of problems in Chicago. You can have drugs. The children can feel abandoned. And the way to solve this problem is for both parents to remember each one has an important role to play, irrespective of if you live in the same household. And that takes parents to understand that. Unfortunately, that is not the case in most divorces. Unfortunately, we don't see a lot of that. And even after the divorce is done, you have post-decree action, and the parties are still hammering at each other, even in post-decree, which has an effect on the children. You have custody requests, which then put the children in the middle of it. So the simple solution, what I tell my client, is try to be reasonable. Understand that the other side has got emotions and feelings, and the children need both of you. So that's the way I try to approach a case. I don't try to kill the other side. I try to work with the other side. Now, if the other side's doing things they shouldn't do, well, that's another story. Then, I have to do what I have to do. But that's basically the way I look at these cases. Have I had some crazy cases? Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, very unusual types of cases. I've had, I recall, one mother accused the father of choking a minor child, and we all went up to the court for trial. I don't know if you remember Perry Mason, but I had a Perry Mason moment. So when I had her on the stand, I said to her, we tested out the child's fingerprints on her neck, and they're not my clients, they're yours. Well, she broke down and said, yes, I did it. I'm guilty. I did it. But my client was charged with all this, and he had nothing to do with it. So, I mean, it has happened a number of times where people will falsely accuse others. One of my other favorite cases is the missing finger case, in which a woman accused her husband of trying to choke her to death.
I see,
And that he was jumping over chairs, chasing her around the house. And he's about 20 years older than her. So in the court, I have him stand up. She's on the stand, and he gets up with his cane, and he hardly can get up. And I say, Mr. J, hold up your right hand. And he holds it up. No fingers. So I say to Mrs. J, what do you see that's unusual in Mr. J's hand? Nothing, she says. Look again, Mrs. J. Carefully focus on his hand. Nothing, she says. Mrs. J, he has no fingers. He can't choke you.
Yeah.
I mean, you get stuff like that, and it's insane. Well, the judge threw out the case right there. But the problem is we had to defend it. I mean, we have another one we just finished like that, where a man was falsely accused under a stay-away order of raping a woman. Now, that's a dangerous accusation because it could walk you right into criminal prosecution, which almost did. And we knew he didn't do it. We submitted to a DNA test, not him. He was in another city at the time, convinced the judge that the whole thing was a sham. And the court fined this woman $28,500 for his attorney's fees. But he paid a high price for this false accusation. So there are things that go on that they just make you wonder why people do these things. I mean, I can give you one more in which a 16-year-old boy wanted to live with his father. Mother resisted, put him in a mental institution. Now, what effect did that have on a child to be involuntarily committed to a mental institution so the mother could keep getting child support and keep him from going to the
I see.
to the father? Well, we had an administrative hearing, got him out of the institution. One child won the custody battle, but here's the sad part. on the day that we were getting full custody, the judge, in front of the judge, that morning, my client died. He was suffering from cancer and had it hidden. And the case was so emotional that the judge was crying on the stand when I told her that my client had died. So judges have feelings too. I mean, they're not stone walls. But that's some of the terrible things. They save a lot of money in attorney's fees, and it works out. Now, those are just some of the things that we deal with.
Okay, the great, self all those story, especially you focus on the family attorney, family law, build so many story there. But anyway, thank you so much, y'all, sharing the all the story, real life story, and especially you emphasize those processing of divorce, that their children is anxiety, pain, abuse, oppression. So you mentioned that it's parents should have a responsibility of those. So can you tell me that can you tell me the specific the how we can solve or how avoid those children pain, abuse, anxiety through how we can take care of those children. Yeah.
We need to change the attitude of the parents. Actually, we need to change the attitude of everybody. The family unit is not what it used to be, unfortunately. There are outside influences that are trying to destroy it. And with it are the roles that each parent plays. Um, and if that family unit is destroyed, even if they are divorced, then the children are sort of floating around without guidance. So we need to strengthen the family unit. We need to make both sides understand the importance of each other so that the children not only feel protected, but they have guidance. I mean, unfortunately, many fathers feel they're just banks that pay for things, but they don't get to participate in their children's upgrowing. That's very important. And many times mothers feel that, well, the father went off, he doesn't have the responsibilities that the mother does because she's got the day-to-day responsibilities. But if you could balance that out between them a little bit more and give each, shall we say, a break where each can participate and each feel that they're participating in an important way, that would help the children. It's unfortunate that a lot of the children are left in that situation. Now, there's another problem you have in cases where the children are born out of marriage, out of wedlock. These are called paternity cases, in which mothers have children, the fathers disappear. So what happens to the children? In Chicago, unfortunately, how do you say that? Because I'm not too far from Chicago, and we try cases in Chicago. There is a problem in that the children then seek a father image, a family image. And who provides that image? The gangs. The gang becomes the family unit. And that breeds a real problem because then you have children doing drugs, committing crimes because their family, quote unquote, the gang, wants them to do it. And that's how they seek their gratification. If you have a strong family unit that teaches the children, one, you are to follow proper rules of growing up. You are supposed to treat people reasonably. You're not supposed to go out and do bad things. We want you to get an education so you can go on and do something with your life. Education is very important and it's a failing. Now, maybe we have certain schools may be not the ones that are helping our children. I don't want to get into that, but the responsibility for educating the children starts at home with the parents. The schools, in theory, are supposed to be teaching writing, reading, and arithmetic. That's it, not social engineering. The parents are supposed to be teaching that. And when you take away that family unit, whether it's in a paternity case, whether it's anything else, you have a problem. I mean, it is unfortunate, but that is the situation we find ourselves in now. And we need to go back to basics. And maybe we need to go back, and the churches, the religious institutions need to take a greater role in instilling things to people that they need to do these things. And unfortunately, maybe that's not happening. You know, I always stress that there is a place in our society for religion, and you need it because that teaches people morals. It teaches people what they need to know, how to coexist with each other. And when that collapses, then everything is in trouble. So that's my personal view.
Yeah, I think the parents and the children should have an ethic and a moral, relationship. Moral relationship needed to build, even during divorce processing. So thank you so much. Those all the detail. Only the real family attorney only can share those kind of information, right? The life, your real life story you share. Thank you so much, there. And then you are coming from the Chicago, right? So do you have any something you want to say about Chicago, what's going on now, and any message or any other city, and so can you say anything you wanted to issue, in Chicago or any other you want to say or issue? Yeah.
Well, if I'm going to say it, it's going to be blunt.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Mhm.
It appears to be in several big cities a total collapse of, shall I say, the government. And there's defunding the police, which is always stupid because we need them to protect ourselves. Law enforcement is handcuffed. Criminals are released. If you take a look at this, a gang will use a minor child to go out and commit a crime, 13, 14. We never had that years ago. 13 to 14-year-olds didn't go out killing people, but they know they're going to be out on the street eventually, and they'll be fine. There is a problem there. There's a problem in the school system. They need to get back to their basics. And I'm going to go back again. If parents don't stand up and get involved, then everything is just going to go to pot. And I did recall seeing some Black ministers, and I'm just going to start, who have gotten involved and tried to change things in their community. And I applaud them. I mean, they're fighting an uphill battle, but they are trying. And that's what we need. We need institutions, people to get involved and say, we need to change things. We need to start at the very bottom. And at the same time, we need to start at the top. And then the two will come together, and hopefully we can change what's going on in our cities. It's not a very good situation, and I'm sorry to say that. I'm not being political either way, but anybody can take a look at Chicago and see that we have, 40 people shot up on a weekend, half a dozen killed on a regular week. I mean, this is crazy. And it's not the guns. It's not the gun laws. It's what's going on with the people themselves. And it's with what we do to try and stop this. That's my own personal opinion on it.
Yeah, so in not only Chicago, all of place in the United States,
Yes.
we should more like bond it to the police, and then we should have a strong policy for the crime, and gun control and second commandment, bear arms. So, those kind of still going on, many political issues, but we not really have a good solution. But thank you for saying that, we have each other city to city. We have some good news to share. But it's not real good news. But anyway, we need so. Thank you so much for the share those things. So I think the you are the 49 years serving community, passionate, serve community. That's why you accept our interview. So I think many people surely need your help. How they can contact and be friends with you? Yeah, can you tell me that?
Sure, and I'd be glad to. My name again is Marshal Morris with one L. You can reach me by my telephone by 847-634-2211. We handle cases in Cook County, Lake County, DuPage County, Kane County, and McHenry. You can reach me on my email, which is very sophisticated, mpm727@aol.com. And that's how you can find me. And I'd be glad to talk to you if you have a problem. Unfortunately, I'm limited to Illinois, which is where I practice. And that's where you would have to be if you needed my help. It has to be an Illinois case. Now, we do handle other matters that are related to divorce. As I said, there's paternity, there's real estate matters that we involved in, and quasi-criminal cases. So that's what we handle, and I'd be glad to talk to you if you have a problem. And as I said, we go all the way up to the Supreme Court, and I've argued the Supreme Court. We've made our fair share of law there. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, great, great. So I'm very proud of you, serving community as an attorney, especially family law attorney. So keeping success, and then, anything we can help you, let us know. Everything is via collaboration, so grow together. So, and I hopefully many people contact you, have solved their life problem, because divorce processing is really hard time, the most hard time in their life processing. I know I have several friends divorce family divorce, the processing, and family law attorney. I'm very proud of them, because their stay needed the hardest hour, the lifetime, so I'm so thankful for, you have those experience, and then have a voice to the people, and share your thought as a passionate empathy, and then passionate having people to come to my interview. Thank you so much your time today. And do you have any last message to share the audience?
Yes, I'll give you one last one. We recognize, at least I do, that divorce is a highly emotional process. We need to learn to tone it down a little bit so that people can sit down at a table and resolve these questions amicably. You'll save yourself a lot of money, a lot of pain, your children, and wear and tear on your attorneys. So, anyways, I wish all of you good luck, and I hope all is well. And thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, Joanne. Dr. Sarah, you show I'm definitely, we need a professional service during those divorce processing, as well as need to take care of those children, no pain, no abuse, no oppress. So thank you so much, Sarah, your older professionalism, and older your compassion and empathy. Thank you so much. See you again.